How is everyone doing today? It is May 31st of 2023 and wanted to get a video up on the tomatoes, which I believe I just did, and then also on the peppers. So every year we like to grow the tomatoes and peppers because they're easiest in containers, but there's so many unique varieties of each different kind. So today I want to talk about the peppers. Before I talk about the 32 varieties that did make our yard, I want to mention a couple other varieties real quick. This one right here probably won't make our yard. We'll probably give it away, but it's the last variety that's unique that hasn't made our yard. This one right here is actually a wonky mutant. It's a mutant pepper, which is a really, really cool kind of pepper. Let me show you that one real quick. That's what a mutant pepper can look like. We pulled some of the peppers off of it already, but it's got a few more starting and it's in a really good spot. So see, look at how crazy cool that looks. I'll show you that one again a little bit more in a second. But that one is kind of a hybrid. So when you grow the seeds, it might not show up like that. So if it doesn't show up like that, it can show up as any of the varieties it's trying to lead back into. And this one right here, you can see there's peppers all over it. And it's just a really, really cool looking pepper. Maybe I'll give this to Kiddo to grow in his room or something along those lines. But it's a variety that didn't make our yard this year. Two other varieties that I would like to note that didn't make our yard. One is the Datil. The seeds just didn't work on us. It was our fault mostly. So no shade thrown at the seeds that we have for it. They were starting to sprout, but we had some issues going with it. We've tried to get the Datil in our yard a couple years in a row now, and just kind of, when it comes time, it's just every pepper for itself. So we don't know what's going to make it into our yard. The Datil had a little bit of a struggle. And the other one I'd like to mention that we've grown probably 5 or 6 years in a row is called the Sugar Rush Peach. One of our absolutely favorite peppers. It also had problems when we were starting it, so we just don't have that in our yard this year. So the first yard in several years where we hadn't had the Sugar Rush Peach pepper, and another miss with the Datil. But we got a lot of different varieties. This one right here is a wonky mutant. It didn't turn out like the mutant pepper, but it's still pretty unique and cool. The red color on that's really, really awesome. So let me go ahead. I'll start down here. And I'm only going to have time to name most of them. I'll try to do in the future care of these plants, stuff like that, and the things that we do to plant them. But as it is right now, we're just locked in, and I want to kind of document all the varieties that we have starting, closing out May. So the yard's pretty much locked in and we're ready to go. This is the mutant pepper, 2 of them. And then here and on the other side here, we planted the Medusa pepper with it. The Medusa is one of my favorite peppers. It's an ornamental that has no heat, and that is really, really rare in an ornamental. So the Medusa pepper growing with the mutant. This one right here is called the Jigsaw. And these are all ornamentals grown in smaller pots. I've seen lots of people grow this one. It's got a really, really cool variegation on it. We'll start right down here. This is a couple near the tail end. We had a couple varieties, so we just used our buckets. We usually use the orange buckets for mulch just because they're not like as aesthetically pleasing in the yard as like the black, white, and blue bins that we like. So we used a couple of these orange Home Depot buckets. This one right here is called the Little Dragon. It's a cross between a sangria and a Thai dragon pepper, so it shouldn't get too big. It grown from seeds that we grew last year, and we were thinking we were going to get the sangria ornamental, but we got some sort of cross between the Thai dragon, we believe, because it has tufts and tufts of peppers that grow off the top of it. Not sure if this one, being another generation out, will have that same thing, but it's in a backup bucket here, so that is the Little Dragon is what we're calling it. I'm not sure what I'll call it in the end, if it ends up staying in our yard or we grow it to established, but it's just a cool, fun variety. The reason we grow is to see something unique, and this one's a pretty unique one. So this one is one that's a rare Hispanic pepper called the Chihuahua Rojo. I believe it's from Mexico, and it is those dried red peppers you can kind of see in the markets sometimes, but this is the Chihuahua Rojo. I believe those seeds came from Dave the Hillside Gardener. We grew several of those plants last year, and saw some of them down at the market, we believe. So we're really excited about that one. It might be the biggest pepper we've grown in our yard. This one right here is called the Midwest Fiesta. The 2 on the outside are red. The two on these sides are orange, and the one in the center is green. There's 3 different varieties: the green, red, and orange. There's the red. There's some orange ones down there. Really excited. This will probably be one of our first peppers that we are able to sit down and do a tester video on. I think there's 2 plants here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants total, 3 different varieties. It's called the Midwest Fiesta, and when I do a video on it, I'll provide a link to in the description of where I got these seeds from and where you can get these seeds from too. So this is the Midwest Fiesta. There's 3 different varieties in there. This one is the Habanada. It's supposed to be a heatless habanero. That one's the Black Cobra, probably the most ancient or oldest pepper we grow in our yard. It's really unique in that it's got a furry stem. This one is the Ahi Ayuyo from our seeds from last year. It had an issue with a cat, so it kind of got smacked up a little bit on this side, but it looks like it's getting its legs and taking. The fish pepper. The pumpkin spice jalapeno, we got those seeds from Baker's Creek. The Oda. This one here is called the Midnight Eclipse, the Midwest Midnight Eclipse. It's another Midwest pepper. This one right here is the Midwest Midnight Orange. I was really excited about this one. It's probably the coolest of the 5 or 6 different Midwest variety peppers that we are trying to grow this year. This one right here is the Lemon Spice Jalapeno from our seeds. This one's the Puma. This one's the Pippin's Golden Honey. This one is one we call the 2020 Cross, or the Carrot Cross. It is a cross between a Courbaki and a Lemon Spice Jalapeno. So it came out as this really low heat, these really cool looking peppers that look like carrots and stuff. So I noticed that some of the plants don't produce the peppers that look like carrots, so we've been kind of thinning those and trying to grow the ones that look the most like the carrot before we carry them to the next generation. I believe these are F2 seeds, which should have the second most variation in them when it comes to trying to get an established variety, but this is our 2020 Cross hitting the yard again. That's the Courbaki. That is the Aji Dulce. That one's another Midwest one called the Otapino. This one here is the Buena Mulata. Those are from our seeds. They look really wispy. I don't know about that one. It's a little bit of a issue, slow start, but hoping to get some good Buena Mulata peppers. We've grown that one quite a few years in our yard. This one is the Ubatuba Kombuchi. This one is the pumpkin pepper. This one is the Jimmy Nardello. That one having a little bit of an issue. You can see the leaves are kind of wispy on this plant over here. I think that one might not make it, but this one right here looks like it's starting to snap back. But that's the Aji Mango. This one is the Aji Crystal. The Lemon Drop. Purple Jalapeno. And Phileas Blue. So I believe that is it. There's so many of them, it's hard to remember if I got them all. Most of them, except for a couple of the ornamentals, are all on this side of the yard. Coming up pretty soon. The plants will all take and it'll start crowding out, but 32, it's a lot. We take each one of these buckets at the beginning of the year and we completely empty them out. We'll put some compost and some mulch and other stuff from the topsoil into the bottoms and stuff to help to try to keep it fertilized throughout the year and stuff like that. You can see our compost bin over here, but and then we fill it in with some of the old soil and then also some new soil and stuff that might have some fertilizers and stuff in it. But 32 varieties, super excited about that. Tomatoes and peppers, we just love seeing something unique. We're out here to try to have some fun. The fish pepper right there, look how cool that plant looks. The variegation and everything. We usually do 2 plants per bucket. We're trying to cut back on that a little bit, especially some of the bigger varieties. So it's kind of cool that the Oda is soloed in a bucket this year. So we can kind of see, double check with ourselves, because we're always doing doubles no matter the size of the pepper. Sometimes I think it helps makes them struggle if it's a larger style pepper. Sometimes I feel like, you know what I mean, if it's a longer style pepper or a smaller pepper, you can put 2 or 3 in one of these 5-gallon buckets. But 32 different varieties. Some really cool and unique stuff to see. Our goal is to try to grow as many different types of varieties, not just the tomatoes and the peppers each year, but we've got some squash and cucumbers this year, onions, corn, different things like that. But lots of unique to see in the peppers. We like to get them to the end of the year, see what we can get to production, and pull them off and take a look at something unique and new. We don't want to be viewed as tutors. We don't want to be viewed as know-it-alls or anything. We're just a small family living in a small yard. If that's cool, then you can do that. That's really easy to pull off. Just a 5-gallon bucket, some soil, and a seed. So we put the holes in there a little bit. We're at a high altitude, dry climate, so it can be a little bit hard for us to retain water. If you're in a more humid climate, you might want to put your holes down near the bottom, or underneath all the way, a little bit more. But we put them up a little bit high, so it creates almost like a little water reservoir down at the bottom. It's UT Angel and Kiddo, May 31st of 2023. Super excited to grow it for everyone. 32 varieties of pepper and blah amount of buckets and whatever. We love you guys. We've been super busy all this month. May is about installing our yard and getting everything up and going, and I think we're pretty much done. There's one more variety of pepper and one more variety of tomato that might make the yard, but probably not. 32 varieties of pepper, 18 varieties of tomato, and ready to go. So hoping to get these to the end of the season and see something unique with you guys. We love you guys hanging out with us. We love watching your guys' videos, and we'll catch you next time. Love you guys, UT Angel and Kiddo. Thanks for watching.